do what I want it to do.
Oh, I see. That'll work.
No, it always does. It always comes down to this Sunday night.
Welcome to Australian Gamers Friday Night Podcast. I'm Matt.
And I'm Yug.
Tonight we're going to be talking about the PSP a couple of weeks after its launch.
And we'll also be talking a little bit about Nintendo's next-gen console, the Revolution. Look, thanks for everyone who actually, is tuning in this time, and everyone especially who's tuning in for the second time.
Yep. Thanks to everyone who downloaded the last one. We got some really good feedback for that, and hopefully we can improve this for the next time.
We also got a little bit of bad feedback.
We got some bad feedback, did we?
We did. Oh, I did.
Everyone told me it was awesome.
No, I got an email from someone actually abusing me for bagging out
Jedi Knight for Dead to Rights.
Dead to Rights. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That was on the user comments.
Oh no, I got an email from him. As well.
Wow, he's persistent.
So if you're listening to this,
I responded on the user comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told him it was our site and we could say what we wanted about whatever we wanted.
Okay, and fair enough. And to all of you,
that stands.
That's pretty much our.
Anyone who disagrees with what we say can make their own site.
So the PSP, we went to the Thursday night midnight launch.
We've already. Yes. We went to the Thursday night
Wednesday
launch,
night
which was
Thursday night.
Wednesday night midnight.
Yeah, that's right. So EB Games in the city. There were actually quite a few people there.
Yeah, probably more than we expected. Not as many as there could have been for a major hardware launch, but it wasn't really one of those things they did a launch event of any kind.
Yeah, it wasn't really any games or particular competitions or stuff like the Xbox.
The Xbox
like that. It wasn't quite as
fancy. There wasn't the phenomenal disappointment there was at the Dreamcast one either. So I thought that made quite an event. Little balloons just floating to the ground, unloved.
Well, I haven't really been playing the PSP that much. I've stolen it off you for like 10, 15 minutes and played Wipeout and thought, oh, wow, it's shiny.
It is very shiny.
But you're probably... what are your impressions of it so far?
I think as a bit of hardware, it's unbelievably cool. It's shiny and black. They've kind of gone for... It's very similar in some respects to the iPod. In fact, I actually find Sony and Apple very similar in a lot of respects in the way they market things and the way they sell things. They've gone for kind of an opposite iPod thing. It's white and shiny, as opposed to black and shiny.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great. It's a good little bit of kit.
Okay, but what about the games?
Who cares about the games? It's a multimedia machine.
Oh, fuck, I hate
it's
that.
No, actually, so do I. Sony, I think, are dropping the ball on that a little bit. I was listening to something the other day that was saying that Sony are expecting to sell 12 million PSP UMDs by 2008, I believe it was. And they expect that 60% of them will be movies and only 40% games. That worries me a little bit because judging by the quality of the movies so far, that's a lot of shit movies.
Yeah, not all the movies in Sony's library are grade A quality blockbuster hits.
Not only are they below grade A, they're kind of below grade Z, I think. They've had to make new letters just for the quality. We got XXX and XXX2. That's not good.
No.
Those are like landmark titles.
But Samuel Jackson appeared in both of them. He came back for the sequel.
That's a low mark in movies and a low mark in Samuel L. Jackson's career, I think.
Fair enough.
But yeah, look, there's a few good movies. Hellboy's cool. I'm not a big supporter of the UMD format. I kind of like the idea of having a movie to watch on the go, but I own better quality movies on DVD that I can watch on the go.
What about the games though? I played a bit of Wipeout and, it looks cool, it sounds cool, but long term, how's it stood up?
It stood up alright. It's still fun driving fast around tracks. Some of the tracks as I've unlocked them have been actually really impressive, and I've shown you a few of them, and you've pretty much told me to go away most of the time. But yeah, shinier tracks, shinier cars, shinier gameplay. I worry a bit that there's not that much more to unlock. I'm a bit worried about that. Could you put it down? Wait.
What?
Little focus. A little focus. Anyway. Yeah, I worry a bit that there's not that much left to put it down.
I was just turning the volume down.
Move it away.
Okay.
Anyway, there's a few strange things about the PSP, I have to admit. There's a few things I don't like in the way they've done it. A few little, what I would consider design flaws. First of all, it's shiny. It's really shiny.
Yeah.
It's really, really shiny, and you just kind of want to pick it up and carry it to your nest or something and put it there and go, oh, it's shiny. But the shininess is way beyond the practical. It picks up
Actually,
dirt.
it's really smudged, isn't it? As in yours at the moment.
I mean, we cleaned it minutes ago, and it's already dirty.
True.
And it's all right that the screen's shiny because that makes visibility improved. But the buttons, it's shiny under the buttons. My fingers go under the buttons, and my fingers are never that clean.
Under the buttons.
Well, beside them, between them. That's the main problem.
Yep. All right.
So it's all shiny in there, or at least it's supposed to be, but it's not anymore. It's just a weird design thing. I think they should have made the screen shiny and around the buttons matte. I'm matte. That's me.
Yeah, you're special.
I'm special. Anyway, yeah. So I find that strange. There's also something else. It's a strange design thing. Let me know, you guys, if anyone else has this problem as well. But the hold button, to turn the hold button on the PSP is easy. To turn it off, though, you have to press the same lever in the same direction as turning the power off. Am I the only one who kind of worries that they're going to actually turn the machine off while trying to turn it off hold?
It seems pretty cool. I mean, something else that I think is really cool is the actual mini CD looking things, but they're in these plastic casings. I just think that's cool because
I actually don't. I actually dislike that. It makes the whole media a little bit bigger. It protects it, which of course is the point. But while it protects it, it also makes a much larger device to carry around. And more importantly, I just actually don't think they're that well built. They're kind of clumsy. They're kind of awkward. And the other thing is that while it's in a casing, the casing has an open section, and that open section could well fill up with mud for all I know.
Yeah.
And because it's sealed, you can't get stuff out, but because it's not sealed very well, stuff can get in. Kind of the worst of both worlds.
Yeah, fair enough. Look, coming back to it, because it's really the thing that interests me the most, the games. Is there anything actually interesting coming out? I mean,
from listening to people in the US, there's a bit of a kind of general unhappiness with the state of the PSP in the US, and that people don't seem to be very happy with the number of actual games coming out. But the number of UMDs coming out is quite high. But I have to say, from an Australian point of view, we've just got this thing, and no one's going to have really bought all the launch titles yet, or very few people will. And there's a few games coming out before the end of the year, and I think that America, unfortunately, has had a bit of a lull in that kind of the games they're getting now are new for us, but they're the games they've been waiting for.
Yeah, I suppose it'll probably pick up once Gran Turismo or Grand Theft Auto appear on the system.
Well, Grand Theft Auto, I believe, is scheduled for... When is that?
I don't know, but
I think it's either the end of this month or the start of... I think it's early October.
That's not Liberty City Stories. No, that's...
Yeah, Liberty City Stories.
No, isn't that the one that's coming out on the DS?
No, you're an idiot. It's Liberty City Stories. Anyway, and the other one that I think did we rave about this previously? Burnout Legends are amazing. Fancy, shiny, crashing, cars, fun, mayhem.
Yeah, you can't go too far wrong with the Burnout game these days.
No, they've done well, and Burnout Legends looks to be an amazing addition, and an amazing addition for a portable as well. So it doesn't take that many good titles to keep a system viable.
But I suppose when it comes down to it, as much as Nintendo will say it's not the case, the DS really is the competition to the PSP. I mean, that is the only other new handheld that's coming out on the market with new capabilities and technologies and things like that.
I guess, assuming you're not counting the Micro.
No, that's just a revamp of an old system.
Yeah, of course, which is what Nintendo have been doing with the Game Boy for years.
Yeah. I mean, personally, if I was looking at buying a portable, I'd be looking at either a DS or a PSP. And the DS is, of course, cheaper, but when it comes down to the games as well, I mean, it doesn't seem like there's all that much interesting stuff coming out on the DS anytime soon either.
It's interesting you mentioned that. That's been the case for quite a long time, but the Nintendo DS is actually starting to get to a point where things are either about to come out or are just coming out. Nintendogs is a really good example. Nintendogs is... Most people will probably know, and I don't know how many people are even that interested in it, but Nintendogs is basically a doggy simulator.
It's like Tamagotchi sort
Yeah,
of.
it's kind of like a Tamagotchi, but super advanced. And Nintendogs is blowing everything away. In the US, it's outselling everything by vast distances.
Really?
It's huge, and it's pushed in the US.
In the US, not in Japan.
No, not in Japan. In the US, and
Wow,
I
okay.
think it did well in Japan when it was released there as well.
It probably would, yeah.
But it's been amazingly successful in the US, and that's really pushed the market for the DS itself. Whether this will lead to a second wind for the DS, who knows? But the sales of the DS, I think we can all accept, have been pretty sluggish compared to the PSP. He's drinking alcohol while we're trying to do this, and now he's about to burp.
No, it's all good.
He's all good. He's got
I'm
himself
relaxed. I'm cruisy.
He's relaxed. I'm drinking Coke, so I'm going all hyper. So yeah, the Nintendogs is pushing the DS.
Battery life. Tell me about the PSP battery life. How have you found it so far?
I actually expected that to be a major problem, and it really hasn't been. I can't play it enough during the day to ever not be somewhere I can recharge it.
So you carry around the charger with you?
Well, actually, no. I bought a little thing. I bought a pack that came with a backpack type. Well, not a backpack, satchel thing. It's a little DS bag in it. PSP. I get them confused. Anyway.
All these acronyms.
But
hold on, so like a little battery pack that hooks into the PSP?
No. What it actually is it's a USB cable that has power cable attached. I've yet to actually use it, though, to be honest. I'm sure it's lovely and everything. I just haven't had the need. I've only ever had to recharge it when I've been at home.
Okay. Well,
But it's cool. Like, it's a cool little thing, and I was glad one came with the little pack. But I haven't used it yet, so I can't review it. I'll review it on the website when I use it. It'll be a long, extensive review.
Really?
No, not
Good.
really. Plugged in, recharged, worked.
Yeah, there's not much else to say. Well, I mean, anything else? I mean, overall impressions of the PSP?
Overall impressions is still... I'm going to just have to go with shiny.
Yeah, look, that's exactly what I think, and I've played it a lot less than you, and that's my impressions. It's shiny
I
and
would,
pretty.
I will just say one thing quickly, which is that the quality of the games being released for it appears to be pretty variable. I played a fair bit of Wipeout, and it's a great game by any standards, but I've also been playing a little bit of Medieval, and it's just really not very good. It was an adequate game on the PlayStation about how many years ago? And I'm talking PlayStation 1, not PlayStation 2, and I don't think there's any excuse for porting games from a 2 generations old system.
Yeah, fair enough. One other thing I would add is that I took the DS and the PSP round to my uncle's place the other day, where my cousin, who's, I think he's 2 or 3 or 4 or somewhere down there, he had to go at both of them. I didn't tell you this, actually, sorry. But
So you gave my brand new shiny PSP to your little
give
cousin.
them. I was.
Did you? Please tell me he had jam on his hands.
I was supervising. It's
I'm
all
sure.
good, you know.
Try not to get the jam into the.
I cleaned it afterwards. I
scraped it.
Scraped it clean. But I found it interesting because I would have thought that to a young kid, the DS would be so goddamn confusing. I mean, to me, when I first picked up the DS, I found it quite awkward to use. I thought, okay, I gotta hold my left hand to hold it, and the right hand to do it, and it just didn't feel intuitive straight away. It took a while to get used to it. Whereas my younger cousin, he picked up the PSP and he just couldn't quite come to grips with it. He couldn't figure out the joystick or anything like that. The DS with WarioWare was the one he was playing. He picked up straight away. He actually
WarioWare's like that,
goddamn used it and was playing it properly, not just messing around. And I mean, that combined with the fact that if you drop a DS, it's like, oh, whoops, we dropped the DS. Pick that back up, and yeah, that'll be alright. You drop a PSP and you scream. You're like, oh god, it's broken.
Hang on,
or,
you
what have I
dropped
done?
my PSP?
No, I didn't.
Right, this is going well.
But
Please tell me you at least caught it on the first bounce.
Yes.
Second?
Yes.
I'm not liking where this is going.
No, look, it works. Yeah,
I noticed it mostly works. I've heard a few complaints levelled at the PSP, people saying they've scratched it. I haven't scratched mine. I've got a hard case for it, and I haven't scratched it. I'm looking at it. It's not scratched. You're out of trouble.
Good. Yeah. Just until you notice that dead pixel.
Oh, that was another issue. No dead pixels. I haven't seen one.
But there was on your DS.
There was on the DS.
Yeah.
So
it's worth noting.
Yeah.
Cool. Alright, well, I think that's all we got to say on the PSP for the moment.
Just my personal little point I have to say is that if you want the PSP as a media device or as a MP3 player, just don't get a Nano. Anyway, if you want it as a portable media player, get an iPod Nano or get an iPod Mini or get something iPod-y. I'm not a huge iPod fan, to be honest, but they are a better thing for that. Could you at least turn the volume down? Oh, that's such a big ask.
Cool. Talking about games machines, the other thing we want to talk about briefly was the Nintendo Revolution.
The Nintendo Revolution.
Now, I think the reason we want to talk about this is because Matt and I are pretty much on complete opposite ends of the spectrum in regards to what we believe the Nintendo Revolution will be. And I think we echo a lot of what fans and general gamers out there would think. So I thought it was interesting that we actually bring this up.
Basically, we take the position that I believe the Nintendo Revolution will utterly fail,
don't even know
and
what it's called.
Guy believes something different, which proves Guy wrong.
How does that prove me wrong?
You disagree with me.
Look, I think Nintendo's made a lot of mistakes in the past. They've been very... they almost kept to themselves with their software and their consoles, and been very rigid in their...
What they've done is utterly failed to support their own hardware, in my opinion.
No, I disagree. I think they've supported their own hardware fine. They've just had issues with third-party developers.
They've utterly failed to get anyone else to support their hardware.
More than any other system, Nintendo has generously supported their first-party games. I mean, they have more IPs than any other system.
Yes, but they're trading on that and nothing else.
Look, anyway, the Nintendo Revolution, which they say is going to be a revolution and all this kind of thing.
Yep.
I am very worried, and something which really reinforced this to me was I was reading this article on Xbox World the other day, which was about the new Sonic game.
What's it called?
It just says Sonic the Hedgehog. I think it's very much one of those games where it's like we're going to take away all of the stuff that we've added in the numerous sequels and just get back to basics.
I can deal with that.
Which I'm really looking forward to.
Make go fast now.
Yeah, have Sonic running fast. That was the best bits out of all the goddamn games. So let's just keep that in there. But it basically said that it's coming out on the PS3 and the Xbox 360, and it was like, nothing about the Nintendo Revolution, which I thought was interesting because when Sega went down, when the Dreamcast failed, basically, and the Sonic games had to find a new console, new platform. Sega is separate from Team Sonic, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. But the Sonic games that came out after the Dreamcast disappeared were on the Nintendo, exclusive to the Nintendo. There was Sonic DX, Adventures DX, and there was Sonic Adventures 2, and they were both on the Nintendo GameCube. And then there was the Sonic Heroes, which came out on all three systems, and then there's the next one, which is Metal Sonic, I believe, or
Shadow the Hedgehog.
Shadow the Hedgehog, which is coming out on all three systems. That's fine, but the fact that it's not even making an appearance on the Revolution when it's going to be on the other two systems, to me, more than anything else I've read or seen, that's a huge indicator that the Revolution is not going to be just the other console as well as the PlayStation and Xbox. It's not going to be when a Tony Hawk game comes out, it's going to be on all three systems. So it's cool if you've just got a Revolution because you'll still be able to get those third-party cross-platform games.
Plus, they're inevitably kick-ass first-party stuff.
Yeah. It sounds like their revolution is going to be just
the unloved, unwanted console that gets no support.
No, see, I actually have a slight amount of faith in Nintendo.
I just don't anymore.
I think that they're trying to be. You look at what they've done in the last year or so with the games that have come out on the GameCube. They're trying to push innovation, right? They've got Donkey Konga, which was everyone was like, "What the hell is this?" But it was a lot of fun. It was really good. The Nintendo DS is the best example of this. I mean, everyone looks at it, they're
Absolutely.
like, what the hell is this?
Very innovative.
And then they get it, and it's like, wow, this is really
innovation.
clever, this is really cool.
So much innovation.
Did you think the Nintendo DS would actually be successful?
I believed it would be. Did believe it would be more successful than it has been.
Really?
Yeah. I had a lot of hope for it because I thought they would push it much harder than they have. I thought it would have some kick-ass games really quickly, and it hasn't. It's worth pointing out that when what was the game? Metroid Prime Hunters demo was put in the thing. I believe it said coming in August. Now I recall August, and I don't recall Metroid Hunters being a part of it.
Yeah, I don't remember much of August.
Yeah, well, I do different things to you on my weekends.
Okay, fair enough. But look, that said, my general attitude towards the Revolution is, I mean, I've been a Nintendo player and bought their systems ever since the original NES, and I have very big nostalgia and attachment to the characters in their games, and I think more than anything, I've got a lot of faith that Nintendo will actually deliver something which will be a revolution and be so different than the other consoles that when you actually come to the choice of actually having to buy the consoles, you either have to buy an Xbox or a PlayStation 3 and a Nintendo Revolution, because it's completely different. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think your faith is blind faith. You're basically saying, I think they'll do this, I think they're going to hit one out of the park, they are so cool, Nintendo rule, based on what? You have no basis for that except faith.
Well, what's your basis for saying they're going to fail?
Past experience.
Like what?
Like how well has the GameCube done? How well are they doing with that?
Okay.
It's good. It's a great system. It's got some really good games, but they are not supporting it like they have.
Okay, this has something to do as well with Nintendo's marketing. Now, I was down in Sydney a few months ago, right, at an internet marketing conference, and it was fascinating to hear a guy who got up and said that, you know, he was one of the guys who was responsible for Nintendo's marketing campaign. And he said that apparently Nintendo only put they have a very small marketing budget, and they actually only put about 1% of that marketing budget towards the internet to start with, right? Now, I found that interesting because I've seen a few Nintendo ads on TV, nowhere near as many as I've seen PlayStation and Microsoft ads, and if they're putting all their budget and all their time and energy in marketing their consoles...
I actually don't think... Sorry, I should let you finish.
No, go on. What?
I actually don't think Nintendo can compete on a marketing level. When you look at a company like Sony, it's Sony.
But it wasn't even good or clever marketing.
No, that's actually something else I've noticed about Nintendo.
It felt like the Dreamcast all over again.
Yep.
It's like, here's this fantastic, awesome system. Here are these games which are amazing and fun to play. Oh, hold on, let's package it up in something that only 10-year-olds are interested in, and let's market it really badly.
They should have marketed the living crap out of Resident Evil 4, because that was exactly what they wanted to sell.
But it's too late.
Amazing
too little, too late. Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube, which is this tiny, cute little purple box.
GameCube.
It's like Sega with their Dreamcast.
Yeah, they get a little fruity with their names.
Is it just because they're Japanese companies or something?
I think it's just because they're Japanese companies, and
that's no excuse, because you have to look at Sony, and you say that Sony is like, that's cool. That's goddamn cool. Everything that Sony touches is just the definition of cool.
In fairness, Dreamcast, GameCube, PlayStation, man.
Okay, they're lucky.
It's the freaking PlayStation. What they did was they built a brand based on something that probably shouldn't have worked in hindsight.
Yep. Fair enough. Well, look, I'm interested to see what the Nintendo Revolution will do. I mean, I personally, being a big fan of Nintendo, I like the concept of having the Nintendo's backlog of games on demand. I like the concept, but I also know that that's not going to mean all that much to me because I'm not really going to play them all. I remember when I got Zelda, the Wind Waker on GameCube, and it came with the free disc with the original 2 Zelda titles that were on the Nintendo 64. Now, I played them both and I loved them. But I loaded them into the GameCube and had like a 5-minute look at them and went, that's cool. That brings up so many memories.
We love our old games, but we don't really play them when we've got new stuff to play. Nintendo's been trading on their nostalgia for too long. They need to get some new stuff.
It works on the Game Boys or stuff like that because it's like these games which a lot of people haven't played and they're coming out on a new system sort of thing, and that's acceptable on that smaller system, but not on their next generation system, which is supposed to compete with the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3.
I disagree that it's acceptable on that smaller system.
Why?
I don't really think they should be allowed to get away with just shoveling any old crap out just because
it's not any old crap, though. They are good games. They are widely regarded as fantastic classic games.
I don't care. Give me new games.
No, because there are a lot of people that have not played those games.
Those people are not Nintendo fanboys.
No, they're just general gamers. Younger gamers who aren't as old as we are, perhaps.
Yeah, no one's as old as we are. You know what I'm looking forward to most about the Revolution? Picking up the games for $20 at an EB within about a year of its launch. It'll be
cynical bastard.
Bargain bin central, man. I see it now. They'll be discounted heavily they'll still carry them at EB, but Target will be discounting them pretty quickly.
Yeah.
He's looking evilly at me.
Look, you know, I'm arguing about this, and I really want the Nintendo Revolution to succeed because if it doesn't, that could mean the end to a lot of franchises that have actually meant a lot to a lot of people.
You could have said the same about Sega, though. And their franchises have just moved.
Okay, but they haven't exactly flourished either.
No, but that's probably Sega's fault more than anything else.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, really. I mean, you take people who've made games as amazing as the Sonic games in the past. The Sonic games have become quite bland lately, but they've done some brand spanking new intellectual properties in the recent time. But unfortunately, they do things like Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg.
Wasn't that good?
It was great. Very widely regarded by critics.
Respected by critics.
Respected by critics. Well, critics don't always hate stuff. But Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg.
Catchy title.
Yeah, catchy title if you want to not sell any of them.
Okay, fair enough.
Anyway. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, look, I think we might finish up on that.
Just before we do, your prognosis for Nintendo in 3 years. What will they be doing?
What will they be... What do I actually think they'll be doing, or what do I hope they'll be doing?
No, what do you actually think they'll be doing?
I think they'll be in the same position as Sega, and they'll be making games for the other systems while they'll still have their Game Boy and the DS, and they'll focus on the handheld market more than their actual systems.
They always have. I think they'll
actually ditch their console systems.
I actually think that they'll suddenly find when they go to rely on that handheld market that they don't have that anymore either, and they will be basically performing oral services for other companies.
But hopefully, my hope is that the Nintendo Revolution will be something special and cheap.
Oh, it'll be innovative. Oh, so innovative. There'll be innovation everywhere. So much innovation that actually just looking at it, you might get like totally innovated out, and the innovation pain will just knock you down. They'll be so innovative, but they won't sell a goddamn thing.
Are you being sarcastic?
No, I think it'll be great. I think it'll be really innovative.
Yeah, and on that, thanks everyone for tuning in, and see you next week.
Yeah, see you next week if we actually bother to do this again.
Yeah, okay.
And if we can stop you drinking for long enough to actually do one.
Look, you're completely useless. You do realise that.
What do you mean?
You just in doing stuff in general.
What does that mean?
Actually, you know what? Here's what I've figured out. Right, you are a little bit useless all the time.
Yep, that is true.
But me, I'm completely and utterly useless.
For
about a quarter,
periods.
yeah, for sure.
No,
like
that makes
about a
sense.
quarter of the time. It's like 3/4 of the time you can rely on me to do anything. Update Australian Gamer, man, I will be there. But about a quarter of the time, I'll just sort of disappear.
Whereas I keep
hide.
a casual overall state of uselessness.
Yeah,
but it's not as high a standard as the uselessness you aspire to.
Yeah. I reach new heights that haven't been set before.
Yeah.
Whereas you're just useless in general.
No, that works.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's
Good.
fine.
Well, then hopefully
You actually thought of something and it was actually not wrong.
Shut up.
All right, well, we're going to sign off now, and next week we'll talk about
Stuff.
What are we going to talk about next week?
No
we'll
idea.
work that out next week.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what the next week in gaming has to offer.
We'll see what the next week in gaming has to offer.
Wow.
I want to talk about...
Okay, look, can we stop talking now?
No.
Okay, shut up. Look, okay, switch this off now.
Okay,
Off.
we're going to...
No.
All right.
See
See you guys later.
Bye.